as we inch closer to a post-rotation world in the Pokemon trading card game, I think one of the big questions, if not the big question, is what is the best deck going forward? And based on the results from Japan, I think we have the answer to that. I'm Jet from inthirdperson.com. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's talk about what is projected to be the best deck post-rotation. And first off, shout outs to these Twitter accounts, which you should follow as well. Pokeka Recipe, which posts a lot of tournament results out of Japan, and also Pokeka Book, who posts a bunch of tournament results and meta shares and all of that type of stuff. Both of these accounts are amazing. Follow both. Even if you don't read Japanese, you can get a lot of information from them, and you can translate stuff as well. But based on the tournament results that we have seen from Japan, and I'm just going to use like one example of meta splits here from a couple of different tournaments. This tournament had 184 people. The top deck, like most played deck, Giratina VStar. At this next tournament, 352 people. Most popular deck, Giratina VStar. This tournament, 384 people. Top deck, Giratina VStar. This tournament, over 1,000 competitors. The top deck, you guessed it, Giratina VStar. And I think this is an interesting one because Lost Box has been in question about like how does this deck operate in a world where there is no scoop up net. And as it turns out, based on what we're seeing in Japan, it kind of doesn't matter. If anything, it gets even stronger for reasons we'll explain in just a sec. So Giratina VStar continuing to be very strong. It's got the move Lost Impact for a grass, psychic, and colorless, does 280 damage, and you throw 2 energy into the Lost Zone. You are one-hit KOing V-Stars. You're one-hit KOing EX Pokemon, not just the basics EX Pokemon, but the stage 1s as well. Most of the stage 1s we've seen have not had 280 HP. And on top of that, Sableye actually becomes even more dangerous in a post-scoop up net world because your opponent can't scoop up their small targets, their basic Pokemons, their stage 1s, and Sableye can have a field day sniping those down. And also on top of that, there is no umbrella going forward post-rotation, which makes it even easier for Lost Mine to work with Sableye and for Star Requiem on Giratina to work as well. Very strong stuff. And the big difference is how do you compensate for the lack of scoop up net? And based on what the list we're seeing in Japan, it's pretty much just run more switch cards. I think that most Lost Box decks currently run 2 switch, 2 escape rope, and this deck example here is running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different switch outs between 3 switch cart, 1 switch, 2 escape rope, and this new beach court stadium, which reduces basic Pokemon's retreat cost by 1. So that's a free retreat for Comfey there as well. You might need to bench 3 Comfeys instead of 2 in order to get more cards into the Lost Zone faster, but it seems like just adding more switch cards is enough to do the trick to make Giratina an absolute beast going forward. Otherwise, the list is pretty standard. Some new stuff here. We've got 2 Nest Balls instead of Quick Balls. We have, and yeah, a Thornton. So like this is pretty much the same as regular Giratina Lost Box, except for Nest Ball and a couple of more switch cards and this 1 new stadium. We also have another example. This is from a different tournament, and they are essentially, it's the same 3-3 line with the Crams and the Greninja. Only 1 Sableye here. And the only major difference is instead of, what's it called? They have Pokegears here as a draw engine instead, so that they have better access to Colress and to Boss and to Roxanne and even a Clara here as well. But otherwise, this is pretty much an old list. Like, you can make this right now in the game, save for Nest Ball. So just take out the Quick Balls, put in Nest Ball, and then everything else here is all pre-rotation stuff. Another deck, since we're talking about Giratina here anyway, Lost Box is the one that gets all the attention. However, I have seen Arceus Giratina also getting some play in Japan and placing pretty well as well. And this also looks pretty much the same as pre-rotation, where you got the 4-3 Arceus, you've got 2-2 Giratina, and really you're just using Giratina as an alternative to Duraludon, except this one hits really hard. Still hitting for 280, plus the choice belts, 310? Yeah, 310 on Pokemon V with the Bibarel as the draw engine. And then otherwise, this is all pre-rotation stuff except for the Nest Balls. Otherwise, you're seeing stuff like Switch, the Capturing Aroma. Still hate that card, but this seems like it's going to be a factor going forward. 3 copies of Judge in a World Post Marnie. It's going to be Judge going forward. And yeah, 4 Path to the Peak. And then one more look at a different Arceus Giratina look. This time we've got the 1-1 Espeon to prevent stuff like the Star Requiem and the Lost Mine. And this is actually more important now because there's one less option for blocking stuff like that because there's no Umbrella Big Parasol going forward. So Espeon still has that effect. And this one's not running Bibarel at all. This one is running Pokegears as a draw engine instead to get at your Professor's Research, Adventurer's Discovery, Colorist Experiment even. And then otherwise, like this doesn't even run Quick Balls, which is it doesn't even run Nest Balls. I don't know how this deck gets going. But this did place very high at a tournament in Japan. And this is another archetype to look at. And look, they got double Drapion here. Double Drapion teching hard for the Mew matchup for this versus this one, which doesn't have any. So those are some lists to use as inspiration going forward. But yeah, Giratina VStar, based on the results out of Japan, looking incredibly strong, quite possibly the best deck going forward, at least in the immediate Scarlet and Violet run. We might see some differences based on how international players play the cards, and once the next set after that comes out, we could see Giratina fall down a peg. But it looks like going forward, Giratina is going to be climbing to the top of the ladder. What do you think of the deck list so far? Are you a Giratina believer? Do you think Giratina is not actually that good going forward? However you feel, let me know in the comments of this video. And for the time being, Twitch fam, stick around. We're going to hang out for a little longer. But on YouTube, we got to get going. Thank you so much. You can find me on all the things, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at In Third Person. You can find me on Twitch at In Third Person, where I stream the Pokemon trading card game every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, like I am right now. And check out the website, inthirdperson.com, for more articles and videos on video games, board games, and other nerdy pursuits. All right, I'll see you on the next one. Later!